Hey everyone, this is Martha the Hedgehog with my May and June 2016 reading wrap-up. I didn't really read enough in May to justify doing one video for that, and also plus I just kind of forgot. So I'm going to be combining them, and we'll be taking this month by month. So in May, I read a total of 2 novels and 2 mangas. This is why I did not do a video. Out of those that I read 1 5 out of 5 strawberry read, 2 4 out of 5, and 1 3 out of 5. In total, I read 1,012 pages. Not that impressive, but it was kind of a busy month and just, yeah. My reading steam, quite honestly, was kind of not up to par. So anyway, the first book I read in May was Yellow Brick War by Danielle Paige. This is the 3rd book in the Dorothy Must Die series, and is not in fact the last one. We are going to be getting at least one more. This is YA fairy tale / classic retelling. It is a retelling of The Wizard of Oz. Kind of. It's almost like an expansion, actually. And it follows our protagonist named Amy Gum, who is from Kansas and ends up in Oz, and Oz has kind of become this nightmarish place ever since Dorothy Gale became its empress, and it's up to Amy to defeat Dorothy, return Oz to the way it was, and all that, but of course it's not as simple as that. Now this one picks up exactly where the second one left off, and I can't really tell you what happens because that would be giving away the ending of the second one, but I will say I gave this 5 out of 5 strawberries. I was extremely pleased with where this one went. It introduces a new villain, the Gnome King, which is from the original books, and he is going to be so creepy. Originally I had concerns with the way the second one ended about how the 3rd book was going to go, but those concerns obviously were done away with. Danielle Paige has done a wonderful job, as usual. I cannot wait to read the 4th one, and I was just in love with this book. It was amazing. 5 out of 5 strawberries. You're going to love it if you love this series. After that, I read, let me see if I can grab it. I read The Night Gardener by Jonathan Auxier. This is a standalone. It is middle grade, historical fantasy / horror / supernatural. I gave this one 4 out of 5 strawberries. Really enjoyed it. It follows these 2 kids who have immigrated from Ireland over to England, and they get hired to work at this mysterious house as servants and kind of to take care of the kids. Now this house, people have avoided it. There's this weird legend about this tree that grows right up against the house and actually even grows into parts of the house. And the kids notice that there's something very wrong about the family. They're all sickly, they don't sleep well, they seem to have nightmares, and at night there seems to be this person or creature that visits the house. Jonathan Auxier is a wonderful author. I forgot how wonderful. I read his book, Peter Nimble in His Fantastic Eyes. I loved it. I forgot how much I loved it, though, until I picked up The Night Gardener. This is amazing. It's got everything that I love in it, you know. Great historical setting, great characters, great spookiness, great atmosphere, and just really, really well paced, and it keeps you wondering the entire time, and it's just really good, and the climax was really exciting and really well done, and I just loved it. I recommend this to anyone who loves kind of spooky stories. Probably older middle grade because it is pretty creepy, but really, really loved it. 4 out of 5 strawberries. After that, I read a couple of manga, just because I needed a breather from novels and the like. So I continued with Bessara with Volume 5 by Yumi Tamura. This is kind of futuristic, but like the future's been regressed in time period, like we've gone back to feudalistic type era in Japan. It's kind of post-apocalyptic, kind of dystopian in a lot of ways. And of course this one picks up right where Volume 4 left off, and I really enjoyed it. I gave this 4 out of 5 strawberries. Really, really enjoyed it. No, I'm sorry, I did give this one 3 out of 5. Enjoyed it, but I think the romance I'm still about. And then finally, I read Volume 5 of Number 6 by Atsuko Asano. Again, I apologize for butchering these names. I just do. Picks up right where the last one left off. I gave this one 4 out of 5 strawberries. Really, really enjoyed it. This is post-apocalyptic. No, I'm sorry. Not post-apocalyptic. This is dystopian. And it's a very good dystopian, you know, the way that dystopian really should be done. Really enjoyed it. Can't wait to finish the series. So that's all I read in May. Like I said, it wasn't the best month in terms of reading. But then we get on to June, which was a little better. In June, I read a total of 3 novels, and I read 10 mangas. A little heavy in the mangas, but I had some series going that I really, really loved. Out of the ones I read, I had 5 5-strawberry reads, I had 3 4 out of 5 strawberry reads, 4 3 out of 5 strawberry reads, and 1 2 out of 5 strawberry reads. In total, I read 8,144 pages, again because of all the manga. So, you know, it wasn't that hard to build up that number. So, out of the books I read, the first one I picked up in June was The Raven King by Maggie Stiefvater. This is the 4th and final book in the Raven cycle. I gave this 3 out of 5 strawberries. This is a young adult, supernatural, slash mystery kind of, slash adventure, slash urban fantasy. It's very, very hard to categorize the Raven cycle books, as I'm sure you guys know. But like I said, I gave this 3 out of 5 strawberries. I liked it. I cannot really say what it's about, other than it picks up right where the 3rd one left off. I have very mixed feelings about it. I liked it. It is a good book. It is a very good book. There's no denying that. It just wasn't what I expected, and I kind of anticipated that, but at the same time, I still was not expecting where she went with it. The ending literally made me say, And it's funny because my friend Hazel read this before I did. She's like, I can't wait for you to pick it up because I really need to discuss this with someone. She's like, this book made me say, And it literally does make you say that because, you know, for the most part, everything is explained as much as it can be. And the explanations aren't bad, but I couldn't decide whether or not I actually was happy with them, and I still can't decide whether or not I found the reasons. I cannot think of the word I'm looking for. I wasn't sure if I was happy with the explanations. There we go. And I still don't know if I really am. So yeah, 3 out of 5. It was really good. It definitely kept you reading, but it was so weird. And I expected a level of weirdness because it is the Raven cycle. I mean, this has been weird from the very first book, but this was really weird, and I still can't decide whether or not I was happy with the weirdness. So yes, 3 out of 5. I liked it, but it made me say, and I really don't know how I feel about it, quite honestly. After that, I needed something that was a little more, that would not make me say, So I picked up Crimson Bound by Rosamund Hodge. This is a fairy tale retelling. More specifically, this is a retelling of Little Red Riding Hood, and I think it's called The Girl with No Hands. It's not a very well-known story. Yeah, I think it's called The Girl with No Hands. This is young adult, obviously. I gave this one 5 out of 5 strawberries. I don't really know how to give a synopsis of it, because one of the biggest things in Rosamund Hodge's books I'm discovering is the world building is extremely heavily built into the plot itself. Like why the world is the way it is a plot device, and it's amazing. This one, I don't know whether or not Cruel Beauty or Crimson Bound are my favorite because they are both very good. They both take place in the same world, but they're not connected. And it's just, the world in this is every bit as rich and amazing as the one in Cruel Beauty, and the characters are just as good and complicated, and they're all flawed. I mean, Rosamund Hodge is very good at writing flawed characters who are also likable. And the atmosphere in this was incredible. I mean, as soon as you start reading it, the atmosphere is set, and the atmosphere, it continues. And the world is very heavily based off of not Rococo era, but kind of French Revolution era France. I know there's a specific term for it, but I can't think of it right now. The author said that she took a lot of, she was very liberal with the historical facts. It was very loosely historically accurate. In terms of court life and fashions and stuff, I actually want to say, as someone who studied this area a lot, I want to say that Rosamund Hodge actually did a very good job being very historically accurate. Which was beautiful, wonderful and beautiful, and it just made the world that much more realistic and captivating for me. But yes, Crimson Bound was incredible, amazing, every bit as good as Cruel Beauty. 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5 strawberries. Really loved it. After that, I decided I should probably read something completely different from all the fantasy I've been reading, just to get some stuff off my shelf. So I picked up Mosquitoland by David Arnold. This is young adult contemporary road travel type thing. This girl named Mim, she's moved to Missouri with her father and her stepmother, and then she finds out that her real mother is sick. She's not sure how, in what capacity, but her mother is sick. So she decides to take a Greyhound bus all the way back to where her mother is in, I don't remember where now. I should, since it kept being reiterated in the book. But anyway, and so it follows Mim and just kind of her journey and all the people that she meets on her way there, and exploring her own personality and what makes her her and things like that. I gave it 2 out of 5 strawberries. I love road tripping stories, but this one really wasn't my cup of tea. It didn't really have much of a point. Most self-discovery stories don't, but this one especially seemed to have no point. And it left me just kind of annoyed and bored and just like, what's the purpose of this story? That being said, this book is written in such a way that you will not stop reading it, even if you're bored out of your mind, because there's just something about the writing style that is extremely captivating. And I will admit, Mim is a very interesting narrator, and all the characters you meet are very memorable and very interesting. So even though I knew that I wasn't going to keep this book once I finished it, and I didn't really like it, and I knew what the rating was going to be once I finished, I still kept reading because the writing style was that captivating and kept me that hooked, which both impresses me and kind of irritates me too, because I'm like, I want to be able to put this book down, but damn you won't let me because you're written so well. So 2 out of 5 strawberries, the 2 out of, because it is written extremely well, but other than that, I was not a big fan of it. And then, amidst all these novels, I read a lot of manga. I don't remember when exactly I read each one, but so I just pulled them all aside, and yeah, we'll show you all the ones I read. So I read Volume 8 of Black Butler by Yana Toboso. Finally finished the circus story arc. Loved it, oh my gosh, and I recently watched the anime that follows that story arc, and they did such a good job. Yeah, really loved it. Kind of left me bittersweet because it was a wonderful storyline, but it ended very, very sadly, of course, and yeah, I gave this one 5 out of 5 strawberries. Really, really loved it. After that, one of my friends, Catherine, has got me in on Skip Beat, and I've reached a point in Skip Beat where I just keep reading. I just want to get through them as fast as I can because I cannot stop reading. So to that end, I went and bought a bunch of the bind-ups, and so I read volumes 16 through 18, volume 19 through 21, and volume 22 through 24. Those of you who are reading this series know what point I'm at now, and oh my gosh. And this is by Yoshiki Nakamura, which I'm sure I butchered that as well. All 3 of these got 5 out of 5 strawberries. I love this series. For anyone who doesn't really know what it's about this girl named Kyoko, who ends up following her best friend and her true love to Tokyo and tries to support him while he tries to become a famous singer. But she ends up finding out that her friend Sho is just using her essentially as a free live-in housemaid, and so she ends up ditching him and he mutually ditches her too, and she decides to get her revenge by becoming more popular in the showbiz than show, and she ends up going into acting and stuff. It just follows her revenge story, and also, you know, all the people she meets and how she becomes very successful in the show business. And it's hilarious, it's funny, it's quirky, but also very serious and dark at a lot of times, and it's just amazing. And the characters are very well developed and complex. And yeah, I'm in love with this series. So I binged these, loved every second of it, cannot wait to get the next pint up to find out what happens next. After that, I picked up Volume 6 of Number 6 by Atsuko Asano. Post-apocalyptic, or sorry, dystopian, there is a difference. I gave this one 4 out of 5 strawberries. Continues to follow where the last one left off. Again, I'm not saying much because I don't want to spoil this for anyone. Really, really, really enjoying it, as usual. After that, I picked up Volume 9 and Volume 10 of Norigami by Adachi Toka. Each of these got 4 out of 5 strawberries. Loving this series, where it's going. Finally finding about Iyato's past and a bunch of the other characters' pasts, and it's just really, 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 really good. And I'm very excited to see what happens next. And then after that, I decided that I had enough of this series to start reading it, so I picked up Volume 1, 2, and 3 of Kari Kano by Masami Tsuda. I gave each of these 3 out of 5 strawberries. I like it. It's really fun. It's a light read. It's really cute. I love the characters. Not my favorite series, but I am really enjoying it, and it was just kind of a fun thing to read, to take a breather from all these other storylines that are much more developed and much darker and more serious and stuff. So I'm really enjoying this series. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So those are all the books that I read in May and June, and July's looking really busy, but hopefully I'll be able to get a bunch of reading done in that month as well, and I'll see you guys around. Bye.